Tammy and Chris. I've never... Tammy, before she left the WWF, and she knows this, she was being a real bitch to me. Because I was the only one who's trying to help her, because Tammy, and I'll say this again, see, Sable is a real cut. Sable is a untalented... I told Russo one time, see, Russo had a fixation on Sable. He's got some kind of fixation for surgical enhancement. I don't know what it is. I told him, I said, putting a live microphone in front of her mouth should be a capital offense. Why do we do that to our television program? Can it be any worse? Please, what is? She stands there, she wears great t-shirts. Let her model. She can't sing, she can't dance, she can't act, she can't speak. She can't even fucking act like she's goddamn breathing. But she was real nice and laid back and very ladylike in the locker room and politically. And you know, so she's an undercover cut. Tammy, God bless her, from day one was an out front cunt. She's a bitch and everybody knows it. She admits it. She's a whiny little, spoiled little bitch. But I like her. And you know what? She has a ton of talent. She had so much talent. She has so much talent. And the reason I started using her is because I always want to use Candido. I met him working for Dennis Corluzzo. I said, Chris, truthfully, and see, here's another thing. I actually have a moral discrepancy problem with having a guy move from New Jersey to Tennessee if I can't pay him enough money to pay his bills. So I told him for like 18 months, and he'll tell you this. Chris, when I can pay you enough money to make it worth your while, then I would love for you to come to Tennessee. But I'm not going to ask you to move from New Jersey. That's not fair to you. Then I got the idea, wait a minute. Instead of paying him a little, if I pay him a little and her a little, then they both together got enough. So I said, would you both like to come down? You be a wrestler, you be a manager. Yeah. Her first TV interview, gave it to her one time. I did it on pre-tape because I wasn't sure. She'd never done TV before. Photographic memory. And then she started getting a little pizzazz. She started to get a little, and she's got personality. Not all the way good. No. But no, she's outgoing. She was cocky. She was a great heel. She was whiny as a heel, and she was sexy as the WWF Sunny, and she's got energy, and she can do promos and blah, blah, blah. I would rather deal with the out front cunt that I know is going to be a bitch in certain circumstances. And she was a little bitchy to me right when she was leaving, and I was the only one who was on her side trying to help her, and I got pissed at her about that. But we talked and made up later on, and it wasn't even a makeup because it wasn't even a blow up. It was just like, well, okay, fuck you, sit over there if you're going to be fucking cranky, and I won't help you no more. But anyway, we've talked since then, and we've saw her at Brian Hildebrand's show in Pittsburgh, and you know, Chris has always been an absolutely fabulous worker and a wonderful kid. And I didn't even get hot at him for that deal where, you know, I sent the tapes up. He called me one day. I'll tell it in more detail for the people who don't know. All those millions. Say I'm not like Russo. I don't assume everybody hangs on my every movement. They track me on the internet. It's just certain law enforcement agencies. Chris called me one day and said, Paulie, we're getting started on this TNN or some national. He wants to do a special on Sunny. He wants to bring Sunny, you know, Tammy back. And can we have some of the old footage? And Chris, that's why I said, for you it's free. From Paulie, I want like $2,000 or whatever, just some ridiculous figure. So he said, I'll check. He called me back and said he'll pay like $1,000. It's $1,200 or it's $1,000 or whatever the fucking case may be. I'm not lying. I can't remember exactly. It's been so long. Point is, I didn't fucking get it. So I said, he said he's got to have it overnight. See, everything is always an emergency with Paul. Everything, I see you starting to heave like you're holding back a belch. Everything's always an emergency. Everything's always got to be done now or overnight or whatever, because that way you don't have time to think. You don't have time to, wait a minute, now hold on a second. Let me just evaluate this. So no, get it out now. Once it's in his hands, then it ain't an emergency no more. So I send the tapes out, and I try to call Chris. I can't get a hold of him. Well, I've come to find out he's ducking me because guess what? He can't get Paul. And then the piece airs, and they only aired like 20 seconds or some ridiculously short amount of the old Smoky Mountain footage anyway. But there, this fucking subhuman, slimy bastard, Paulie, and you know what? That's what you are for doing that. He's supposed to be their friend. He's got her out there for the sake of ratings, crying about her family member that died and talking about a drug problem, and that did not do her any good. It didn't do her public image any good. I don't think it did her privately any good. I don't think it did anybody any good except his fucking ratings, or what he imagined his ratings were going to be. If he was their friend, I don't need the ratings that bad. I'd rather people watch the show because they like to watch the fucking show than because somebody's going to have a mental fucking breakdown. But that's his goddamn New York bullshit fucking once again idea. Yeah, you can tell I'm prejudiced. That was not a nice thing to do to that girl. And I didn't like it. When I saw it, I didn't like it. And when Chris called me, I said, you know what? I said, they didn't use enough of my shit that I'm even upset about. He made a deal with me, but it's like the other ones. You know, it didn't matter anyway. But Chris, why did you go along with that? And truthfully, I don't remember exactly what he said, but I don't think they thought it was going to be like that. I don't think it was presented to him like that in this context. And also, let's face it, did they have a lot of options at that particular point in time about places to go? So he had them over the barrel. He didn't have them strapped down. He didn't have the dildo all the way in. But he had them over the barrel and he was tapping them lightly on the buttocks. Yeah, you're going to do it. Fuck that. Why be that way? You know, she's a good talent and he's a good talent. And they don't need to go on there and have personal problems of whatever kind. It's a wrestling show. What is it? Fucking Dear Abby or goddamn Jerry Springer? It's a wrestling show. So he's appealing to a low common denominator. Not saying that I won't kick the fat manager in the pants, but at least that's related to wrestling. And at least it doesn't damage anybody.